Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate key infrastructural projects in West Bengal in a short while from now. Will also visit Assam today. Democrats voice frustration over the release of new trove of Epstein files that fall far short of what was mandated. Bill Clinton's aide says US expects answers, not scapegoats. US launches Operation Hawkeye Strike, hits over 70 ISIS targets in Syria in support with Jordanian forces. Trump calls it a massive strike. Violence and protests continue in Bangladesh. Security tightened in Dhaka. UN chief urges peace and accountability. And mass stabbing in Taiwan reported, 4 killed. Attacker dies during police chase. The president announces heightened security, orders probe. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is on a visit to West Bengal, will lay the foundation stone and inaugurate national highway projects at Ranaghat in Nadia district in a short while from now. He will also address the gathering on the occasion. Prime Minister Modi will inaugurate and lay the foundation stone of 2 national highway projects worth around 3,200 crore rupees. The projects will serve as a vital connecting link between Kolkata and Siliguri. Prime Minister Modi will inaugurate 66.7 kilometre long 4-laning of Barajaguli Krishnanagar section of NH 34 in Nadia. Prime Minister Modi will also undertake a visit to the North Indian eastern state of Assam on 20th, 21st December. On Saturday, Prime Minister Modi will undertake a walkthrough and inaugurate the new terminal building of Lokapriya Gopinath Bordolai International Airport in Guwahati, marking a transformative milestone in Assam's connectivity, economic expansion and global engagement. Prime Minister Modi will also address the gathering on the occasion. The newly completed integrated new terminal building, spread over nearly 1.4 lakh square meters, is designed to handle up to 1.3 crore passengers annually. Supported by major upgrades to the runway, airfield systems, aprons and taxiways. The terminal sets new benchmarks in passenger convenience and digital innovation. India's first nature-themed airport terminal, the airport's design draws inspiration from Assam's biodiversity and cultural heritage under the theme Bamboo Orchids. Prime Minister Modi extended his greetings on the raising day of the SSB, Sashastra Seema Bal, sharing pictures on his social media handle X. Prime Minister Modi highlighted that Sashastra Seema Bal's unwavering dedication reflects the highest tradition of service. Their sense of duty remains a strong pillar of our nation's safety. From challenging terrains to demanding operational conditions, the SSB stands ever vigilant. He wished them the very best in their endeavours ahead. India's heavy-lift rocket LVM-3 is set for a launch on December 24th, carrying AST Space Mobile's powerful Bluebird 6 satellite to low Earth orbit. The mission from the Satish Dhawan Space Centre, Sriharikota, will mark one of ISRO's most significant commercial flights of 2025. The 6.5-ton Bluebird 6 will be the heaviest satellite ever placed into low Earth orbit by LVM-3. The satellite is part of AST Space Mobile's next-generation fleet, designed to create what the company describes as the world's first and only space-based cellular broadband network directly connecting to the everyday smartphones. Once operational, it will support commercial and government users, enabling direct-to-device broadband coverage across priority markets. And some weather updates now. The India Meteorological Department has issued a red alert for North India, warning of dense to very dense fog across several regions in the northern part of the country. The weather agency said fog conditions are likely to persist for the next 2 to 3 days, raising concerns over reduced visibility, travel delays and road safety. Dense fog conditions are very likely at a few places in Bihar, isolated pockets of Jharkhand, Odisha, Gangetic West Bengal and northeast India. Amid widespread flight disruptions caused by fog and low visibility conditions, the Civil Aviation Ministry directed airlines to strictly adhere to passenger facilitation norms to ensure safety and convenience. As per the directions, airlines must provide timely and accurate information to passengers regarding delays, cancellations, rescheduling and diversions. The advisory further stated that for extended delays, airlines should provide meals and refreshments proportionate to the waiting time. If a flight is cancelled at a short notice, airlines are required to offer either a full refund or rerouting on an alternate flight at no extra cost. Airlines have also been directed to ensure priority boarding and necessary support for persons with disabilities and passengers with medical needs. The Civil Aviation Ministry's direction came as dense fog disrupted operations at the Delhi airport, with at least 177 flights getting cancelled and over 500 flights getting delayed on Friday. In a significant boost to India's agricultural exports, 3 metric tons of GI-tagged Indi lime from Vijaypura district of Karnataka were exported to Oman, marking the entry of this unique citrus fruit into another global market. The shipment to the West Asian country of Oman follows the maiden export of 3 metric tons of GI-tagged Indi lime to Dubai on 24th August 2025. The product received an encouraging response in the UAE market, leading to subsequent exports of nearly 12 metric tons, which is 4 times the initial quantity, to Dubai. As part of market diversification efforts, another flag off for the export of 350 kilo of GI-tagged Indi lime to the UK was also undertaken. The successful shipment of GI-tagged Indi lime reflects the growing opportunities for Indian agri-products under the strengthened trade framework. The GI status of Indi lime, known for its distinctive aroma, high juice content, longer shelf life, has played a crucial role in positioning the fruit competitively in global markets. On to updates from Bangladesh next. Dhaka and several other parts of the country witnessed widespread protests on Friday following the death of Sharif Usman Hadi, who succumbed to his injuries while undergoing treatment in Singapore on Thursday night. Security was tightened ahead of the repatriation of Hadi's body, which arrived in Dhaka on Friday evening. Additional personnel deployed in the country as the funeral of Hadi will be held on Saturday. Now, amid high alert, security personnel keeping the vigil outside the Bangladesh High Commission was tightened here in New Delhi. Further, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres condemned the killing of Bangladeshi youth leader Sharif Osman bin Hadi and called on the authorities to ensure accountability. The UN chief urged the authorities to conduct a prompt and impartial and a thorough, transparent investigation in line with international human rights standards. Addressing media in New York, UN spokesperson Stephanie Dujarric also appealed for calm, urging all sides to refrain from violence, reduce tensions and exercise maximum restraint in order to preserve a peaceful electoral environment. The killing also drew similar concern from UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk. In a statement, the UN Human Rights Chief echoed calls for accountability for those responsible. 4 people were killed and 5 injured when a knife-wielding attacker went on a rampage in central Taiwan's Taipei. A 27-year-old suspect set off smoke bombs in Taipei's main metro station during the Friday evening rush hour before launching into a stabbing rampage. Later, the suspect died in apparent suicide after the attack. The deceased suspected attacker had a prior criminal record and outstanding warrants, and his house has been searched. Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te demanded a full public inquiry into this deadly metro attack. Officials called it a deliberate act but said that the motive was not immediately clear. Lai Ching-te also visited the hospital, offering prayers and expressing hopes for the injured to make a swift and full recovery.
For areas in Taipei City where crowds are expected to gather in various commercial districts, we are upgrading security measures citywide. This includes not only increasing police presence, but also ensuring that all officers are fully equipped with the necessary gear. Police vehicle, specialized unit and task forces will also be deployed.
Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Ukraine begins new round of talks with the US in Miami on ending conflict with Russia, with its EU allies also attending. And 2026 Winter Olympic flame returns to mainland Italy.
For sustainability to become more than just a statement, it needs to be practical and seamlessly fit into our lives.
If we are thinking about a net zero economy. And obviously, automobile sector is at the center of this transformation. Instead of buying new vehicle, if I can retrofit and upgrade my existing vehicle, environmentally speaking, it is superior.
Zero waste means repair, reuse, analyze.
We realized that if women became involved in decision making and generated income, the whole family would benefit. Before, we needed a lot of manpower to handle the waste. But now, with the conveyor belt,
It converts the waste into electricity, powering 2 farms.
The land of forests, nature's hidden jewel. Jharkhand is a traveler's paradise. Get ready for a sensory extravaganza, complete with ancient traditions and world-class lifestyles, breathtaking scenic beauties and heart-stopping adventure. Thousands of years of faith preserved in magnificent temples, marvels of new age infrastructure.
Can I resist?
An abundance of prehistoric heritage flowing through generations.
I've heard so much about the expertise behind this vibrant Sorai art.
Discover new horizons. Discover yourself. Discover Jharkhand. Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Tanvi Taneja. The US military launched large-scale strikes against more than 70 targets of Islamic State in Syria on Friday in retaliation for an attack on its personnel. In a video released on Friday by the US Central Command, the military said that the strikes hit more than 70 targets across central Syria, adding that Jordanian fighter jets supported the operation. US President Donald Trump told a rally in North Carolina that he had ordered a massive strike on Islamic State targets in Syria after a suspected attack by the group that killed 3 US military personnel last week.
We hit the ISIS thugs in Syria who were trying to regroup after their decimation by the Trump administration 5 years ago. We hit them hard. I ordered a massive strike on the terrorists that killed our 3 great patriots last week. 2 soldiers, 1 interpreter, all great people. And it was very successful. It was precision. We hit every site flawlessly, and we are restoring peace through strength. We're all over the world.
US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said that the strikes targeted ISIS fighters, infrastructure and weapon sites, and said that the operation was dubbed as Operation Hawkeye Strike. While Syria has reiterated its commitment to combat Islamic State and intensify military operations against the group. Next, updates on the much talked about Epstein files. The US Justice Department released a new trove of documents from its investigations into the late financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, bowing to pressure from lawmakers who forced its disclosure with a new law. The release follows months of political wrangling amid rebellion by some of President Donald Trump's staunchest supporters over his administration's reluctance to make public all records tied to probes into Jeffrey Epstein. Although the Justice Department added a note to the web page where it posted links to the documents, this note read, "All reasonable efforts have been made to redact victims' personal information, but warned that some could be disclosed inadvertently." A White House spokesperson, meanwhile, praised the Trump administration following the latest release by the US Justice Department, saying, "The release was a testament of transparency of the administration," before accusing the Democrat politicians of involvement. Meanwhile, Democratic Representative Ro Khanna of California said that the law requires all unclassified documents related to Epstein be released. Addressing journalists, he said that it is disappointing that they haven't been able to release these documents on time in compliance with the law. While it's clear that they are trying at the very least to meet the deadline, they should have been able to do more, he said.
First of all, the law requires all unclassified documents related to Epstein to be released. It's obvious they have not met that standard. Blanchard himself admitted that they only are releasing a few 100,000 documents, and the rest of the documents they will be releasing in the weeks ahead. It is disappointing that they haven't been able to release these documents on time in compliance with the law. While it's clear they're trying at the very least to meet the deadline, they should have been able to do more. And if they couldn't do it, they should have met with the survivors' lawyers or with the Oversight Committee or with Massey and me to explain why not. But at this point, what we need is a clear timeline of when the rest of the documents will be released and an explanation for why they did not release all of them today.
A spokesman for former US President Bill Clinton also responded to the series of photos released by the Justice Department showing the former US President socializing at one time with the late financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, saying that this isn't about Bill Clinton, and suggested that the move was shielding the White House from scrutiny. The reaction said that the US expects answers rather than scapegoats. And next, updates on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Ukrainian negotiators held a new round of talks on a settlement to the conflict in Miami with the US and European teams on Friday. Ukrainian negotiator Rustem Umerov said that the agreement to pursue their joint efforts were made during the talks. White House envoy Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner also plan to meet Russian President's special envoy Kirill Dmitriev on Saturday. However, no trilateral meeting will be held during the Miami talks. The weekend talks come as Russian President Vladimir Putin, in an annual news conference, vowed to press ahead with his military offensive in Ukraine, hailing battlefield gains nearly 4 years into the conflict. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Friday promised not to force Ukraine into any agreement to end the conflict. Talking to reporters, the U.S. Secretary of State said that he might join a portion of talks on Ukraine on Saturday, as he said that progress has been made in discussions to end the conflict, but there was still a long way to go.
A peace deal unless Ukraine agrees to it. And there can't be a peace deal, of course, unless Russia agrees to. But remember that. Any peace deal is one that Ukraine has to agree to because they're a combatant. If Ukraine says we don't agree to it, there won't be peace. So our job is not to force anything on anyone. It is to try to figure out if we can nudge both sides to a common place. And guys, you know, in a conflict like this, in a war like this, that's not easy. It takes a lot of time. We're going to have some patience with it, unfortunately.
A Brazilian Supreme Court judge on Friday rejected a fresh appeal by jailed former President Jair Bolsonaro against his coup conviction. The court declared the appeal inadmissible. Judge Alexander de Moraes, who oversaw the trial against Bolsonaro, said that he did not recognize the fresh appeal, which requires 2 judges to have voted against the conviction. Only 1 of 5 judges on the Supreme Court panel voted not to convict Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro began serving a 27-year sentence in November after the country's highest court declared that he had exhausted all appeals. Brazil's Congress this week passed a law that could reduce Bolsonaro's sentence to just over 2 years. President Lula has vowed to veto the law. However, Congress has the last word and can override him. Elon Musk's 2018 pay package from Tesla, once worth $56 billion, was restored by the Delaware Supreme Court on Friday, 2 years after a lower court struck down the compensation deal as unfathomable. The ruling overturns a decision that had prompted a furious backlash from Musk and damaged Delaware's business-friendly reputation. The court said a 2024 ruling that rescinded the pay package had been improper and inequitable to Musk. The remedy of total rescission leaves Musk uncompensated for his time and efforts over a period of 6 years. The 2018 pay package is now worth about $139 billion based on the price of Tesla stock at the close of trading on Friday. Tesla shares were up less than 1% in after-hours trading following the ruling. The pay package was by far the largest ever until Tesla shareholders approved a new, even larger pay plan in November this year. And now let's bring you up to speed with all the sporting action. First news from cricket. India's all-rounder Hardik Pandya slammed a 16-ball half-century to set up a 30-run win over South Africa in the 5th and final T20 International in Ahmedabad. The win helped the hosts clinch the 5-match series 3-1, a 105-run partnership between Pandya, who hammered 63 runs of just 25 balls, and Tilak Verma swept India to 231 runs for the loss of 5 wickets. In reply, South Africa started strongly thanks to a 65-run knock by Quinton de Kock, but the opener's departure triggered a collapse and the Proteas ended their innings on 201 for 8. Spinner Varun Chakrabarti took 4 wickets for India. He returned with the 10-wicket haul in the series to be named Player of the Series. The win sealed India's consecutive 8th T20 series triumph, a streak that began in December 2023. On to badminton. India's doubles pair of Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty made history at the BWF World Tour Finals in China. They topped Group B and sealed a place in the semi-finals of the season-ending badminton tournament in Hangzhou. The Indian badminton players became the first men's doubles pair from the country to qualify for the semi-finals of the BWF. They defeated 2-time Olympic medalists and world number 2 pair of Aaron Chia and So Wui Yik of Malaysia, 17-21, 21-18, 21-15, to confirm their place in the top 4. This was the Indian duo's 6th win in 17 meetings against their Malaysian opponents, who had knocked them out in the quarterfinals at the Paris Olympics. On to tennis now. 3-time Grand Slam singles champion Stan Wawrinka announced that he would hang up his racket at the end of next year, bringing down the curtains on a 24-year-old professional career. Wawrinka, who turns 41 in March, conquered Rafa Nadal to claim the 2014 Australian Open title before he toppled Novak Djokovic twice at the 2015 French Open and 2016 US Open finals. He has clinched 16 ATP titles, with the last one coming in Geneva in 2017. Wawrinka won Olympic gold in doubles alongside Federer at Beijing in 2008 and helped deliver a first Davis Cup triumph for Switzerland in 2014. Wawrinka reached a high of third in world rankings in 2014, but he has struggled with injuries in the past years and is now ranked 157th. He is due to begin his final season in Perth at the United Cup starting on 2nd of January. Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola dismissed speculations over his future at the club, insisting that the contract talks are not on the agenda. There were rumours that he could leave the club at the end of the season. Reports linked Chelsea manager Enzo Maresca as a potential successor, although Maresca dismissed them earlier. City are unbeaten in their last 6 games across all competitions, and the emergence of midfielder Ryan Cherki is one of the reasons. Guardiola's team, who only trails leaders Arsenal by 2 points in the table, hosts lowly West Ham United on Saturday and could overtake Arsenal for the top spot in the Premier League. And the 2026 Winter Olympic flame returned to the Italian mainland as part of the torch relay. The relay will cover around 12,000 kilometers, passing through 110 Italian provinces and more than 300 municipalities, with end-of-the-day celebrations in 60 cities along the route. The flame will continue its journey through the regions of Italy, arriving in Cortina d'Ampezzo on 26th of January, exactly 70 years after the kickoff of the 1956 Games at the same venue. It will reach Milan's San Siro Stadium for the opening ceremony on 6th of February. The Games will be co-hosted by Milan and Cortina d'Ampezzo and run from 6th to 22nd of February, with the Paralympics to follow in March. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.